started right now. You will get an emailed copy of this recording. It will also be posted on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel so that you have access to it after the fact. These trainings are really only as good as your follow-up to actually use the material. And so we're going to be going through some tips and tricks on how to really increase your search engine optimization through blogging. We're also going to just touch on how to go about using IQ Office and having it enhance your social media. As we go through today, I really would like to encourage you to ask questions along the way. There is no such thing as a silly question. We're here to help, and we want to help you build your business. So without further ado, we're going to just jump right in and start. The first question I want to ask you all is, do you blog? Are you all bloggers? Do you find blogging intimidating? Where are y'all at on the blogging scene? Yes, I blog. No, I don't blog. No, I don't know what it even is. Cool. So Karen does. Margaret does. Bob and Christy, do you guys blog? Leslie and Andrew, do you blog? Awesome. So there's some pretty cool things about blogs. And the main reason that we would blog in real estate, do y'all know what a keyword is when I say keywords help your search engine optimization? Does that make sense, y'all? Okay. So keywords are how Google goes out and finds what your page is about. And there's some keywords that we all know people search for when it comes to real estate. We know that they're out there looking for homes for sale and insert your city name. We know they're searching for real estate agent, insert your city name. We know they're searching for home value, insert your area. So we know those basic keyword terms, but there are some longer keyword terms, and they're called long string keyword terms that are things like, how do I make moving easier? Or what are the best questions to ask a real estate agent when selling my home? Or how fast should it take me to sell my house? And those longer keyword terms are things that people are putting into the Google search bar or the Bing search bar. And by blogging, you have a really good opportunity to target those long string keyword words in those searches. So when I actually go into Google, and if I was a consumer, and I'm going to type, how long will it take me to sell my home in Idaho? I can actually start to see things that come up. So in here, I can actually see there is a blog about the balance, personal finance, home buying, selling your home. I also can see some advertisements up here about real estate firms. I also can go through and say, okay, there's realtor.com, there's Zillow, and there's a lot of things here, including a flat fee site, which is pretty wild. So notice there's not a whole bunch of agent pages here. So the nice thing about these long-term or long string keywords is you're not having to compete as fiercely with other agents in your area. You can see here that Zillow is on that top first page of search results, but you can actually go in and you could write a blog about how long it takes to sell a home in your area, and you could start to show up on that page. Is everybody with me so far? You understand why you would want to use a blog and what a long string keyword is. Cool. So how do you get there? Where do you even go to begin this process? So you can actually go into your marketing tab, and there is a section here called My Blogs. And if you actually go in and open up your blog, you can actually see all of your blog posts, and you can create a new blog. Now, if you've gone in, and I tend to post on my blog. I try to post every couple weeks. It doesn't always happen. You can see in here that I have a couple blogs that I actually post on. So you can actually go to My Blogs, and it's going to list your blog as the admin, and you can create a brand new blog if you'd like. And you can name it whatever you would like. So if you want to name it Christy Neese blog, you can do that. If you want to name it something that maybe is a little bit stronger for searching and that search engine optimization, that is a really good idea. So you can actually see here, real estate around Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. You could name it relocating to Colorado. You could name it living an outdoor lifestyle. You could name it life at the beach, real estate blog. You can name it whatever you would like. So you just type your name in. And then if you want to have your admin email in here, you can do that. You would just go through the list, you'd find your email, you'd add it to that list, and you would have it in there. If you don't want an admin email, you do not have to do that. And then, do you want to be notified of a new entry? Yes or no? Do you want to be notified of comments? So as people comment on your blog, do you want notification? Yes or no? Do you want people to have to log in to see your blog? Yes or no? And are comments allowed? Now, you also can choose to include entries from your company blog. And what that does is it actually populates your blog so that you can look like on your website, like you are posting more frequently than you are. So I just want to show you what that looks like. Really quickly so you can see it. So I can actually see here that this was posted on July 6th, a couple days ago. All of this is going up on my blog, but it's their company postings. So those are happening in addition to the postings that I'm doing. If you don't want that, you just click no. Now, how many of you are on a team that are on this call today? If you're on a team, type yes in that chat box. Awesome. So if you're on a team and you want to allow your other team members to post on this blog so that you all have a voice, you simply can click on this orange add button, and then you would search for the user, and you can click on their name, and now that person will be able to go into their marketing and they'll be able to see that blog underneath their blog choices. Once you've done all that, you click save. It's successfully saved up here. You see the success. And now on my home screen, I can see my other blog here. I can go in and I can go to my entries. Everybody feel good about this so far? Not leaving anybody in the dust? Cool. And then you just go about and putting in your new entry. So I just typed that green new entry. I would add this, how selling your home in Idaho. And maybe the subtitle is, how long will it take to sell your home in Idaho? So now I've got a title, I've got a subtitle, and now I can go in and I can type my blog. I can talk about as of the summer of 2019, what the inventory looks like, what the competition looks like, things you need to know about selling your home, maybe that are specific to Idaho. And I maybe can write 500 words or less on this. Do you think all of you could write 3 paragraphs about how long it would take people to sell their home in your area? Things like what's happening in the market, what are the average days on market, some staging advice as far as what they could be doing. And I think putting some information in there about how to price your home competitively, and what that actually means, and how days on market affect your selling price. Do you think y'all could write a few paragraphs about all that information? So I think that when we all start thinking about blogging, we think, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? That's just so much information I have to come up with. And I think we overthink how much we need to do. So I actually carry around a little notebook with me, and I start brainstorming. And if I have a good idea about what to blog about or what to go live about on social media, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit, I just write it down on my notebook, in my notebook, because then you typically spend Mondays getting everything ready for the next week. It's my heavy work day, and I can crank out a couple blog posts. I can get a Facebook Live in or put it on my calendar when I'm going to do that Facebook Live. And I can actually get really good information done. It also really helps with writer's block. And how many of you have worked with a client that had like 1,000 questions about the process? So whether they were selling or buying, every time you met with them, they had at least 5 questions. I hope you're smiling, because I think we've all had a client like that, where they want to know everything about one neighborhood or one school district or how much rain falls in the area. And those are the kind of questions that you and I all live in this land of living and breathing in real estate. So we don't really think about those questions being something to write about. But I can guarantee you, and what I've found just in my training is, if one person has the question, one person, there are at least 3 other people who have the same question and are afraid to ask. So something to keep in mind as you have your little notebook, or maybe you use, yeah, Karen, at least one. That's funny. If you have your little notebook, or maybe you use your phone and you use an Evernote app or something like that to keep all your notes, some of those questions can easily feed into blog posts as well, because if they're not asking you, they're asking Google. So we're going to go in, we're going to actually type our text here. If you want to insert an image, you can actually go in and you can say, hey, here's my photo. I'm going to put this in. I can highlight it. I can resize it. So you can put photos in here. You can hyperlink things out. So if I wanted to link this out to this hardware store, I could actually just insert the link. I could put the website in. I would say I want it in a new window. It's going to say, hey, do you want it to put the required text in? I do. And now it's hyperlinked. So if you want to connect to lenders, maybe you're doing a review of a lender that you had a really good transaction with. Maybe you're doing a review of a home inspector, or why you would have a home inspection, and you could link through to 2 or 3 different home inspectors. You can actually hyperlink that text through. The next thing I just want to point out is over here on the status. So you can have it be active or inactive, and you can have it go inactive. So if you say, hey, I need this to actually go inactive after a month because this coupon has expiration date, you can do that. You say, hey, this is going to be inactive after 1 month. You can also change your post date. So I can say, hey, it's Monday, I'm getting my work done, but I know that most of my clients are actually online on Friday. So I can actually say, hey, I want to post this on Friday. I want to allow comments. I can add categories to this. If there's a category that's not in here, you can actually type. And push plus, and it will add that. And then you can add a featured image. So if I click here, it's going to actually open up my pictures box. I could actually go in. I could say, hey, here's the picture I want to add, and it's going to insert that image, because everybody likes images. Once I've made all my changes, I'm just going to go ahead and click save. And if I click close, then I can actually see, here's my post date and time, and that it's a status of active. After a month, this status will automatically update to inactive. So this is a great way to actually go in, build your search engine optimization. It also gives you some really good content to share on your social media without having to recreate the wheel. So how many of you have a Facebook page that you are working currently for your business? Awesome. So it looks like everybody on the call does, which is really important. So you have to have social media. If you are someone on this call and you don't have social media, I just want to give you a few quick facts about social media. One, there is an average of 20 minutes per session spent on Facebook per active user. So if someone's looking at their Facebook, they're typically spending about 20 minutes there. There's also, as of January of 2017, there are over 1 million hours of video had been watched daily. So not every, like, hey, we hit 1 million views today. Like every day, 1 million hours of video are being watched. So it is really important to have a Facebook page. You all know that because you have one. I'm not going to go too far into that. I am going to pull up my Facebook page so you can see what I've got here, because I do want to talk a little bit about sharing information on your Facebook page. So you're working hard to get a blog up. You're posting. I'm going to say if you can get posting every other week to start. So 1 post every other week, 2 posts a month. You can schedule them out. So if you sit down and write 2 today, you can schedule 1 to go out this Friday and 1 to go out Friday a couple weeks from now. All of a sudden, you have some content to share. You access your blog through your website, and you can actually share that content onto your Facebook page. So I could actually go in and I could say, okay, I want to share this July events calendar. I'm going to actually open up the event, and right from here, I can share it on my Facebook page. So this is something that the company created. I don't have to do that. I can actually go, hey, I'm going to share this on a page that I manage. And I can say North Idaho is a great place to spend the summer. Now, here's the other thing that's really cool is I can say, okay, I'm going to post this, right? So that has now been posted to my Facebook page. So if I just want to go post things, I can do that. The other thing that I can do is I can actually copy. So if you're a Mac user, that's Command C. And if you're a PC user, it's Control C. And I can actually go to my page and I can schedule that. So I can actually hit Control V here. It's going to pull up a preview. I can delete this. I can type my text. And I can then go in and I can say, okay, I want to schedule this. And I want to schedule this out for maybe Thursday at 10:30 a.m. And when I do that, I schedule it. And now all of a sudden I can spend time on Monday getting my blog posts up, making sure that they are going to go out. And now it's way easier. And I don't have to go in and think about everything that I'm doing. It makes your life a lot easier if you can automate some of that. I can actually see here, North Idaho is a great place to spend this summer. If I want to delete this or change the date, I can do that. I'm actually going to delete this because we're about halfway through the month now, which is crazy to think about. And I can actually see that it's going. I also can see my scheduled posts here. So what are some other things that you should be sharing on your social media? Definitely sharing your blog posts are things that you should be doing. It's also a really good idea to share listings. So if you go into your listings tab, depending on your company settings, some people can see all the listings in their office. Some people can only see their listings. That's a setting that's set by your office managers. And if I go in and I'm actually going to say, okay, I want to share maybe this Bunko Road listing, I can actually go into the Actions tab and I can actually easily say, hey, I want to share this showcase page on my Facebook. it's going to pull up the website. I can say I'm going to share it on my business page. I want to share it on this page, and I can say something about that. Again, this is instantly posting it. So if I want to schedule that out, I'm going to go in, I'm going to go to the actual website, and then I'm going to copy and paste that link. It's going to bring up all the photos that are there. I can delete this and I can say amazing horse property. And again, I can share now, or I can go down and I can schedule this. I saw a really funny thing the other day that I do want to share with you all, because I think that we forget about this. A lot of us are only posting listing. It's like a listing post, a listing post, a listing post, a listing post, a listing post. And that's great, but it's also very boring. How many of you actually get on Facebook to just look at listings? You think, I know what I'm going to do today. I'm going to log onto my Facebook and I want to see how many of my real estate are homes for sale. I'm assuming you're all laughing and smiling at your desks. If you don't chat in the chat box, I don't know what your reaction is for that. But we all get that, right? Yeah, nobody does. So exactly. So as a real estate agent, is posting listings important? Absolutely. That should be part of your social media strategy. However, that cannot be all of your social media strategy. You should be sharing things like listings. You should be sharing articles that you're writing. You should be sharing community events. So how many of you actually are very active in a charity? And I like that. So for those of you that aren't looking at the chat box, Christy says we do a tip Tuesday and a funny Friday. And it's really important. So if all you're doing on your Facebook page is sharing listing after listing after listing, people get bored really quickly. And so going in and sharing things on your blog that are real estate related, but not listing related, is important. Maybe you post a listing, and then if it's like the bunko like this bunko that I did, maybe it's something where you're posting a listing, but then you're also talking about Athol, Idaho, and what it's like to live up there, and how far away the grocery stores are, and how far they are away from the airport. And you're giving more information than just a listing, because just a listing is extremely boring. But a listing that says, hey, just, you can come live the North Idaho dream. It's a beautiful property. Bring your horses. You're an hour from the Spokane International Airport. You're going to get about 60 inches of snow a year. You do have access to internet. You're very close to Silverwood Theme Park. Like, you can put way more information in this, and you can make it about more than just one post. So maybe one day you do the listing, and the next day you talk about what it's like to live there. And the next day you do a community post about a restaurant in the area. And the next day you do something about your tip of the week. And the next day you do something about a charity event. I do want to share, I have some really good material I want to just quick share with you. Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to click through some of it because I've already covered it. But I do want to just talk a little bit about this. One, your post should be visually intriguing, so it should speak more than one language. So if you're only posting listings, you're only speaking one language. Things like sellers getting their new home. This is awesome. It also shows the personality of the sellers. People love 5 reasons lists. They actually love 5 reasons to paint your kitchen cabinets white. I'm not a white kitchen person. I have an 18-month-old. The idea of having a white kitchen terrifies me because I'd have fingerprints everywhere. But some people like it. You can go in and you can put about how you're contributing to your community. Are you doing something for Habitat for Humanity? Are you doing something for the Humane Society? Are you volunteering with your local Boy Scout troops? We're all very involved in our communities, and I think we really need to make sure we're sharing those wins as well. The other thing I want to just briefly talk about is the power of video. So people are 10 times more likely to engage with your posts on social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook. I know we've really focused on Facebook this morning. If it is a video, they are more likely to like, comment, or share that post. It also, the live notifications that you can get from a Facebook post of something are unbelievable. So I'm going to just show you, I'm going to pull up the video I did about a week ago. And I'm not going to play the video. But what I want to do is actually show you over here in this box. So I posted this video a week ago and it had just under 1,200 people who saw it. It was shared 3 times. 497 people actually watched the entire 2-minute video, and it had 128 engagements. So 128 people actually clicked through to see what was happening. And it's amazing to me that more people aren't going live. So I went live. I'm actually going to show you, it's not just me in the video. So what I did is I actually just showed the property. So here's the view from the property. I walked down the stairs. I showed what it looked like out from the road. It doesn't have to, I think when we hear about people going live and sharing video, we get super intimidated that it has to be looking at us. And it doesn't. It actually can be looking at the property. And this is more interesting than just a link through to a house. Now, I did share the link to the house. So if people wanted to go through and actually get the listing information, they could. And I just linked it through. It's not my listing. It's actually Linda Wilhelm in my office's listing. If you click through, it's actually going to take you to my page. It has the information about the house. And if people fill out this information, that lead comes to me. So it's a different take on how to share a listing. How does everybody feel about that? Are you overwhelmed with information in this 30-minute session so far? Good. So where do you begin scheduling and figuring it out? So this is what I do. I go in, I schedule out my blogs so that I do most of it in this real estate about. So I do most of it in here. I do some of it in here. You choose how that works. I go in and say, hey, we're going to schedule out, maybe you're going to say every Monday, the first of the month, I'm going to write 4 blogs. Maybe you're writing 1 blog a week. Maybe you're going to do 2 blogs a month. But everybody get out a piece of paper really quick and we're going to make our schedule. Let's see. I'm also going to see if I can use a whiteboard function that I've not. Cool. So I can actually go in, start screen share. So we're going to do 1. So we're going to put text in here. So thing number 1 you're going to do is how many blogs a month are you going to post? The choices are 2, 3, or 4. I'll put. So everybody's going to work on posting twice a month, 3 times a month, or 4 times a month. So once every other week, once every 10 days, or once a week. I think that's really smart, Karen. So Karen says, I'm going to do 2 to start. I think starting small is important. Setting realistic goals that you can actually accomplish is a really good thing. So the second thing you're going to work on posting is once a week, a live video on Facebook or Instagram, whichever you're more comfortable with, that is talking about your community or a neighborhood or a house. So once a week, going live on your Facebook or Instagram to talk about a community, a neighborhood, or a house. So some of you on this call are going to say, well, I don't have any listings. That is totally fine. There are people in your office who have listings who I'm sure would love to have you go live. You can also go to a community park. You could go to a community event. You could go to a neighborhood, share some information about listing statistics, link it through to your What's My Home Worth. So I actually am going to share, you all know you have this function as well. This What's My Home Worth we all have on our website. And you can actually say, hey, I'm here in this XYZ neighborhood. It's a really great home or really great neighborhood. I actually just pulled the listings this morning and there are 12 homes for sale in this neighborhood. They range from 180 to 425. And depending on what street you're on the size of the home, some features of this neighborhood are schools, parks, proximity to a landmark. I think it's a really good investment opportunity. If you would like to know, if you live here and you want to know what your home is worth, I'll post my link in the comment section. Everybody feel good about that? So you're going to be going, let's see, to once a week, a live video. Awesome. So what day of the week are you going to put on your calendar to do a live video? 2 minutes or less. The camera does not have to face you. So what day this week are you going to be going and doing a Facebook Live on a community, a neighborhood, or a house? Awesome. So Leslie asks a really good question. She said, do you think weekends are better? Leslie, where do you live? What state? Okay. So Florida. I think you have to know your market. I'm in North Idaho in the Panhandle. And I find that on weekends in the summer months here, people are not inside. They're out doing things and enjoying the lakes and enjoying hiking and spending time with family. They might be stopping by open houses as they're driving by, but they are not on their phones as much. Now, if I were to make an educated guess about Florida, it's really hot. Like, are you hot and humid now? Are you in the heat of the throes? Yeah. So maybe Saturdays and Sundays for you are better. Saturdays and Sundays here in the wintertime are awesome because everybody's on their phone. They're going to the movies. They're not outside. If they're outside, they're skiing, but there's still inside time there. So I think you have to look at your market and you have to think about what your clients are doing. Are they inside playing on their phones? Are they going on road trips? Are they in cell range or are they outside doing things? So for me right now, I find that I get better results on Thursday and Friday afternoons than I do on a Saturday. However, I also love I think the idea of being consistent, picking a day, and then telling people on your page you're going to do it. So if Karen, if you're going to do this on Wednesday, on Monday and Tuesday, I would be posting super excited. On Monday, I'd say super excited about my live video on Wednesday at 1:00. I'm going to be sharing with you about one of my favorite neighborhoods. And then on Tuesday, I would say, has anybody ever lived in this neighborhood? I'm going to be live at one of the best parks in town tomorrow at 1:00. And then on Wednesday, I actually go live with that information. So you can start to like trickle that information out and you'll get better engagement when you're actually telling people you're going to go live. Here's the other cool thing is when someone goes live, you actually they get a notification here that says so-and-so went live. Let me see if I can find someone. I think everybody was out of town here for the holiday weekend. But it will say like, hey, so-and-so was live here. The other thing that will happen is on your newsfeed, it's going to say, this person is live now. Do you want to watch? And that is worth its weight in gold. And then going and linking through the website or the information to get people here so that they can find out what their home is worth or find information about what's for sale or about you. That's there. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to perhaps 3, once a month, share a volunteer activity or about you. So we all know that the main way people find their agents today is still through a referral through a friend and family, right? Karen's cousin Leslie knows Christy, who knows Margaret, and recommends Bob. And then Bob says, awesome, I'm going to work, or Karen says, awesome, I'm going to work with Bob, and because my friend knows them and they're great. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to search them on Google, because Google's validating everybody's opinions about everything right now. And so I'm going to make sure that once a month on my social media, I'm sharing how I'm giving back to the community I live in. Is that picking up garbage? Is that doing a volunteer day? Is it collecting cans for the food bank? Maybe you're not at this time in your life and the season of your life, you're not able to donate a whole bunch of time, but you are really passionate about the, like there's a backpack program here that makes backpacks for kids that can't afford food at their house and sends them home with a backpack for the weekend. And so maybe you don't have the time to do it, but you have time to, the financial means to go buy food for that program and share that you are donating. Hey, I'm just really excited. I wanted to share with you today about this program. It's called the Backpack Program. This is the statement of them. If you want to volunteer, here's how you get in touch with them. I'm actually donating 4 grocery bags full of food as my monthly contribution. I'm really excited about it. Now, the interesting thing about this idea is you can do this same idea every month. If you have one charity that you're very passionate about, you can share about it every month, because how often do you remember what someone posted a month ago on your social media, either on your Instagram or your Twitter or your LinkedIn or your Facebook? How often are you like, man, you know, Margaret posted last month about this charity she really liked, and now here she is doing it again. What is she thinking? Is that a thought that any of you would ever have? Right. No, but everybody would like that. Everybody's going to enjoy when you're giving back to your community. Everybody likes to see the human part of who we are. It's also part of the reason that we're in this business is we are here to serve our community and to serve our clients. I was picking up what you were laying down, Christy. So now all of a sudden, this idea that managing your social media and keeping everything up to date and having a post every day, is it as daunting as it was 40 minutes ago? Because now I've got 2 blogs a month. So I've got 2 posts. I've got a once a week Facebook page. I've got a once a month share about a volunteer activity or about you. Why are you in the business? And then you can be sharing things like solds. You can be sharing things like client wins. I'm going to come back to that, and we're going to talk about that one for a second. And you're also going to be posting something that is a funny or fun activity. So if you have a funny joke or you have a really cool activity that's happening in your community, here they do a farmers market on Wednesdays, and then they do something called Live After 5, which is really fun. Fun event. You can share it every week. Not a big deal to share that, whether you're there or not. If you are there, you should definitely be sharing it. Client wins. How many of you in your life have had every transaction that you've ever done go very perfectly? Everything was perfect. No one was upset. Your paperwork was all in line. The home inspection, absolutely nothing came up. Oh, do you? That's really cool, Karen. The home inspection found nothing wrong with the home and everything was wonderful. That's what I call a unicorn. Those transactions just don't exist. Every transaction has something. So here's the thing. Nobody talks about how hard it is to buy or sell a house. And consumers get into this process of buying or selling their home, and then they're frustrated because it's hard. Moving sucks. It's hard. Things come up. Your perfect house isn't perfect. The new buyers are going to come in and they're going to knock down all the walls that you've measured your kids on. The home inspector is going to for sure find something. They're going to find mold, or they're going to say the carpet's at the end of its lifetime span, or something's going to be found. That is a really easy thing to share as a client win. So let's say that Christy is selling a house to Bob. And Christy says, hey, Bob, we need to talk about the home inspection. And the home inspection comes up and there is mold in the attic and the vent on the microwave doesn't work. And so she's explaining to Bob, hey, Bob, the vent on the microwave doesn't work and there's mold in the attic, but I really want you to know, like, we're going to take the next step. Bob feels good about what Christy did. That's a win. It's really easy to turn that into something to share on your social media. You leave Bob's name out of it. You leave the house address out of it. I want to share with you about some hiccups that often come up during home inspections. I think a lot of people think they find a perfect home. They don't need an inspection. I just want to share a story about this home inspection I had today. You know, there was mold in the attic, the microwave vent didn't work, and we weren't sure if the lawn sprinkler system worked. So when I talk to my clients, I talk to them about health and safety issues. I make sure I build in a contingency for that home inspection. And this is the time frame that we need to do. Here's 4 questions you should be asking when you interview a home inspector. Is that valuable for your potential clients? Is that good information for potential clients to have and for you to be providing for them? And do you all feel that if your clients knew more about what to expect when they were going through the process, that the hiccups that you faced would be easier to navigate? So that is the power of social media, is you actually can start to have a conversation with people before they are in the buying process about where they need to go. So now you're talking about getting some blog information out. You're doing once a week live on Facebook and driving people to your website. You're sharing a volunteer activity or about you, and you're linking that to your website as well if you'd like. You're sharing your sold. So clients sell their homes, you're tagging them in it. You're sharing the link to the website of their listing or that home value. Hey, my client Karen just bought a new vacation home in Florida. She lives in North Carolina full time. Do you want to know what your home's worth? The link's in the bio below the picture. Have a great day. Congratulations to Karen. You're sharing those client wins, which is a tricky way of saying the client challenges that you can help people navigate through. And then you're posting something funny, like, how do you know the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? One says later, see you later. That's really fun. That's like one of my best jokes. One says see you later, one says after a while, or something like that. You find you find a joke, you find something funny, you find a community event. Oh, I actually heard a really good joke this weekend too that I'll share with you real quick, and then we'll go into questions. Why did the Scarecrow get Employee of the Month? He was outstanding in his field. So you can find that. I love jokes. I love really super corny jokes that are appropriate for everyone. Uh, so here's the thing. You can find some fun memes. You can find some real estate memes. You can find fun things that are happening in your area, especially during these summer months when we all could be outside. So share something fun, share your client wins, share your solds, share your volunteer activities or something about you. Once a week, you're going live. You're doing 2 blogs a month to drive people to your site. And in all of these posts, here, I'm going to actually copy this and paste it in here for you so that you can have this list as well. Oh, it won't let me copy and paste it. You can actually, that's really irritating. You can actually now have 6 days a week. 6 days a week, you have something to post. And you're linking either your house value, you're linking your About Me page, you're linking a portal so people can actually log into your website and you're driving traffic to your site. All righty, we've been at this for about 50 minutes this morning. What questions do you have for me? There is no such thing as a silly question. I'm here to help. I've got about 10 more minutes before I have to jump off the call, but I do want to make sure you're getting all your questions answered so that you can really go in and we can help you build your business and you're using your social share here from your listings. You're also using, it's just underneath those quick links. You're also going in and you're sharing your blog information here. And you're actually starting to really drive people to your site so that you're capturing people before they're in the process. Question. Leslie, if you registered, you should get it. They're also all posted on our YouTube channel. So I'll pull that up here. Christy, that's a really good question. Here, I'm just going to pull up the YouTube channel so that we can make sure y'all know where that is. So everything is posted here as well. So everything's posted here. I'll go ahead and I'll copy that link and post it in here. We also post everything on our Facebook page here. So if you're not a member of the Facebook group, we'd love to have you. So Christy asked, do I use other sites like Twitter or LinkedIn? So I typically use Facebook and Instagram. It's where I've found that I have the most success. I have some friends who are really avidly using LinkedIn and they're having some great success talking about business. I think that it can be done successfully. I think you need to change the tone of what you do on LinkedIn. So if you're posting on LinkedIn, it needs to be very analytical information and it needs to be business driven. That's typically why people are on there. They're not on LinkedIn to buy a home. However, they may be on LinkedIn to find out what you're selling, to find out about rent rates, to find out about market statistics, and about you as a professional. So I keep my resume up to date on LinkedIn. And I make sure that I message people back when they message me something that's not a generic message. Twitter, I think, is an interesting thing. I think that Twitter had Mr. Trump, and I'm not here to get in a political battle with any of you today. I think had Mr. Trump not become president, I think Twitter would have gone away. I think he has revived Twitter because people want to know what he's saying over the weekend. And I use Twitter to look up information. So I might actually go in. I don't know if I'm logged into Twitter on my computer. I typically use it on my phone let's see if I can remember this. I typically go in and I use it on my phone. It's not something that I typically do on my computer, but I actually will go in and I'll actually search. So if I want to know about like real estate news, I can actually like I'll go in and I'll search to find information. That's typically what I use Twitter for. I don't have a lot of followers. For me, I use it as an information source. I also do follow the auto industry though in Twitter, simply because they make some things that are very scary, very approachable. So let's see if I can find one of those things. Like who would have ever thought that we would have been okay? And they actually have some really good commercials as well. Who would have ever thought that we would be okay in a car that will drive itself and park itself and do all that for us? And the auto industry does a lot of things that are very intimidating to the public very well in their messaging. And so I do follow it for that reason, because I want to know at what point are we changing the messaging to make it consumer friendly. And I think the auto industry does a really good thing about that. So I follow some people on Twitter for news purposes, but you can see I have 60 notifications here and articles. I don't do a lot of posting. My advice is do what you're comfortable with first. And once you're ready to go to the next platform, move forward. But I also think that taking on too much right off the start is intimidating. And if you take on too much, you won't do any of it. I would rather have you do a few things well than a lot of things on an average basis. Most people still today, whether you like it or not, are on Facebook. If you're worried about reaching the millennial generation, post on Instagram. That's where most of them are on most days. However, most Facebook owns Instagram. So if you're posting on your business page and you have a business Instagram, you can actually auto post through using Zapier. There's some really cool things that you can do. There's just a lot of information. And I think often we already are spreading ourselves really thin. I think that most people on this call would agree with that, we all have a lot to do. It's really easy to get sucked in the hole of social media. It's important to have a plan, work your plan, get information out there so that people can validate what other people are saying about you and that you're providing value before the point of sale. But don't get so locked up in having to be everywhere that you're not anywhere. Other questions? So again, here is our YouTube channel. That link is there. Here is our realistic user group. We would love to have you join us here so that you can ask questions and we can share things. Yeah, you're welcome. I know that we have a session next week. Let me see if I can figure out what it is really quickly. Showtime. So you can actually go into this site. I'll put this in as well. All of our training is, you're welcome, Bob. All of our training events are here on this page. This page gets updated about once every few weeks or so that you know what's coming up. It does change the time zone so that it's in your time zone. I know we've got some people on the East Coast on the call and some people on the West Coast on the call today, but we will be rolling August schedule out here shortly. You can always find the trainings here. Next week, it looks like we're talking about how to create some custom lead pages. So if you were on this call, you want to know how to create some custom pages so that when people click through, you've talked about a community. How do I make a page that actually links through to the listings that are in that community? That's what we're going to be talking about. So I hope you all have a great week. I hope you all had a wonderful week, whether you're in Canada or in the United States last week with the holidays, and we will talk to you soon.